What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. That's the final PLE of 2025 and the final PLE ever for John Cena. However, things aren't going out quietly as WWE presents two colossal Wargames matches featuring the Elite of the Elite, as well as two championship clashes. Join us now as Wrestlelamia recaps and reviews 2025 Survivor Series Wargames and reveals who the mystery man was. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Now, before we get into the analysis, we'll have a quick review of the show, as first up was the Women's Wargames match as Rhea Ripley, Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair and AJ Lee took on Nia Jax, Lash Legend, the Kabuki Warriors and Becky Lynch. Now, the babyfaces have the Wargames advantage, but the heels make up for it in ferocity as they hold their own against the babyfaces until Wargames enters its match beyond stage, pummeling Rhea Ripley and company. However, when Asuka blows mist at Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair pushes her out the way, leading to Asuka blinding Lash Legend. The babyfaces then rally with Sky hitting a signature trash can spot off the top of the cage, which looked insane. AJ Lee then moves in on Becky Lynch, forcing her to tapping out after applying the Black Widow. Rhea Ripley's team wins the Wargames match. Next up is the Intercontinental Championship match as champion John Cena takes on Dirty Dominik Mysterio with the Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. This is a back and forth match until Dirty Dom attempts a dive off the security barrier and lands on his shoulder. It gets so bad that the medical team attends to him as Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez ambush Cena, laying him out with their finishers. However, it was all a ruse and Dominik actually manages to get back in the ring and hit the 619 on Cena, but the referee refuses to make the count after Dom's dirty tactics and sends the Judgment Day's females to the back. The match takes incredible twists and turns as Cena accidentally flattens the referee, with JD McDonough and Finn Balor then doing their best to help out Dominik Mysterio. But it's not enough though, and Cena continues the offense. Unfortunately, the referee is now still out as things go insane afterwards, as we now get a shocking return in Liv Morgan, slapping Dominik Mysterio before embracing John Cena. However, we've all seen that look before. It's a damn swerve as Liv low blows John, allowing Dominik to hit the frog splash and cover Cena for the win as Dominik Mysterio becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. Next up is the Women's World Championship match as champion Stephanie Vaquer takes on Nikki Bella. And Nikki attacks Stephanie from behind, gaining the initial advantage. But unfortunately, this only seems to anger the champ, and Vaquer launches a brutal counterattack. Nikki's experience advantage gives her some momentum, but eventually Stephanie gains the upper hand, delivering a diabolical devil's kiss on the announce table. Vaquer then delivers a corkscrew moonsault to Nikki, and that's it for Bella's bid for the belt, as Stephanie Vaquer retains the Women's World Championship. And now it's time for the main event. Yeah, only 4 matches. It's now time for the men's Wargames match as CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos and Roman Reigns take on the Vision of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. The heel team has the Wargames numbers advantage and they use it to devastating effects as Drew McIntyre and Bron Breakker demolish CM Punk. Cody then shows up to even the odds, but a miscue by Cody sees the American Nightmare elbow CM Punk right in the face. Thankfully, that's just a hiccup and the babyfaces give it as good as they get. Unfortunately, a mystery assailant enters the fray, giving the heels the numbers advantage. The mysterious entrant hits Seth Rollins' curb stomp on CM Punk before getting out of the cage. It's then a spear by Bron Breakker to Punk as Bron covers Punk for the win. The Vision, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar win the men's Wargames match. But it's not quite over just yet, as CM Punk shows his respect to Roman with a fist bump and Roman reciprocates. However, Cody Rhodes isn't willing to do so at first, leading to Roman walking away and telling the American Nightmare that this is the last time they'll ever team as Wargames comes to a close. But that was a quick recap of the show. What about the good, the bad, and the downright ugly? As always, we start off with the good as number 1, another inspired hype video. WWE's decision to shake things up with its pre-show hype video led to an eye-catching spectacle that played on the idea of the camera and how we see the various wrestlers on air. Now, while we don't need WWE to try and aim for awards in cinematography, this was a pleasant change of pace. Number 2, the spectacle of stadium shows. WWE's decision to hold Survivor Series at a stadium, in this case San Diego's Petco Park, this was a risky one, especially in light of the inconsistent ticket sales, but this one certainly paid off, not only because fans came in droves, but because nothing looks as major league as a stadium full of fans. The set was dazzling and looked much better on a grander stage. It even looked so cool to see Survivor Series Wargames in almost daylight. Obviously that changed up fast throughout the day, but it still looked like a cool visual. Now, it's been reported that WWE is looking to book Survivor Series 2026 in a stadium, so they want to continue this. Number 3, Charlotte Flair gives back. A kudos to Charlotte Flair for wearing a ring outfit inspired by one of her bravest fans, a young girl who is battling cancer and who Flair has befriended. Flair's touching gesture to Scarlett was a reminder of how WWE superstars can use their status to brighten the world of real-life superheroes. Number 4. Liv Morgan is back. Liv Morgan's big return was a huge surprise, as rumor had it that Morgan wasn't planned to return for injury for some time, some even saying for the Royal Rumble 2026. However, it was a great swerve where she teased turning on Dominik Mysterio only to lay out John Cena with a low blow. Morgan's return couldn't have come at a better time, as the Judgment Day has been a non-factor other than Dominik Mysterio, who really doesn't need the group anymore. Now Morgan can renew the storyline of Roxanne Perez trying to weasel her way into the group, and the WWE can decide whether Liv is better as a heel or a babyface. Number 5. John Cena does the time-honored tradition. Tonight was John Cena's last ever PLE appearance on his farewell tour, but fans expected him to ride out in a blaze of glory were definitely in for a surprise, as Cena lost to Dirty Dominik Mysterio, albeit with the help of a small army of heels. Cena could have easily gone over, sending the fans home happy, but that's not how he rolls. The 17-time world champion knows that he has a fantastic opportunity to put someone over by giving them a shock win on his final appearance on a PLE. Of course we're going to look at the real reasons why. Number 6. Io Sky's 6th spot. Tonight, Io Sky reminded the world why she's so respected by fans and her fellow wrestlers alike, putting in another outstanding performance during the women's Wargames match. Everyone involved in the match had some jaw-dropping spots, but nothing like what has become a Wargames tradition, Io placing a garbage can over her body and diving off the top of the cage onto her opponents. The idea of jumping off the top of a cage is scary enough, but doing so blindly and also flipping over at the same time just deserves some sort of award. She really is the genius of the Sky, especially when you realize Io does it without any blunders. Number 7. Stephanie Vaquer's push continues. And make no mistake about it, WWE has big plans for Stephanie Vaquer, despite their questionable decision to keep her off a recent WrestleMania hype video featuring some of its biggest female stars. Stephanie has been pushed consistently since her NXT debut, with WWE carefully gauging the fans' reactions to her to ensure that they don't over-push her. This has resulted in Vaquer winning fans over with her tenacity, willingness to improve in the ring, as well as their exotic charisma. Tonight's win over WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella was just another way to pad Stephanie's resume and let fans know that she's the real deal. We're pretty sure that WWE is going to have her enter WrestleMania as champion. And AJ gets the win. Speaking of female talent, WWE made the right choice in giving AJ Lee the big W for her team tonight. While WWE didn't follow up on an angle where AJ said she'd do whatever was necessary to win for her team, having Lee submit Becky Lynch was quite the honor. Of course, every decision in wrestling should have a payoff, and Lee forcing Lynch to tap out does, as it furthers the feud between the two women. Not only that, but it furthered AJ's status as a wrestler who hasn't lost a step, despite the significant layoff from active competition. Of course, Becky Lynch was crashing out on X, further blaming referee Jessica Carr, saying that she didn't even tap out. But that was a good what about the bad, as number 1, no shark cages. Sadly, tonight's Survivor Series Wargames matches skipped the traditional shark cages where each member of a team waits to enter the cage. I mean, WWE really missed out on viral moments within that cage, as they got last year with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. In fact, it was one of their most viewed videos of all time. This time we could have got footage of Brock Lesnar in the cage, which would have been hilarious. While WWE seemed to think that this would create more suspense, it was really a step down, and even though some people mentioned that we could have had surprises, we didn't have any surprises anyway during the Wargames matches. Number 2, endless ads. Does WWE have a staff of time management specialists working to find new ways to squeeze ads into its shows? Fans are used to the seemingly endless chain of commercials on Raw and SmackDown, but once upon a time, PLEs were a refuge from commercials. Other than the odd ad for WWE events or merchandise and maybe a cringeworthy backstage ad for Pizza Hut or KFC. But now fans are subjected to commercial after commercial, whether they're tuning into PLEs on Netflix or ESPN. Simply put, it stinks, and it's a reminder that WWE sees its fans as nothing but assets it looks to exploit at every opportunity. Number 3, wasted time. WWE's greedy, oversaturated ad campaign isn't just ruining fans' goodwill, it's harming its PLEs. While the WWE has made more of its PLE matches mean something, as opposed to the last years of Vince McMahon's run, when PLEs often took a quantity over quality approach, disappointing many fans, the amount of filler on the show was inexcusable, and it was so bad that they could have included one more match, if not 2 matches on tonight's show. WWE could have showcased some of its undercard with a traditional Survivor Series elimination match or booked another championship match. Instead, fans had to endure commercial after commercial, and a missed opportunity. Wargames is more about than just watching 2 teams of 5 beating the snot out of each other, even though that's a big part of its appeal. It's about furthering feuds and playing on wrestlers' history. So why did WWE start the men's match with CM Punk and Bron Breakker rather than Punk and longtime nemesis Drew McIntyre? While it was fun watching Punk contend with Breaker's incredible power advantage, it would have been better watching Punk and McIntyre renew their rivalry, much as Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair did during the Women's Wargames match. Now, there was nothing downright ugly, as Survivor Series has become the type of event where fans watch it for 2 matches, that obviously being Wargames, and they're always entertaining, with the only question being how one year will compare to another. Tonight's matches weren't anything noteworthy in terms of match quality, but the enigmatic intruder who laid out CM Punk was enough to make the main event noteworthy. And speaking of that, who really is the mystery attacker? Fans really can't get enough of strong storylines involving mysteries, and tonight's men's Wargames match delivered a big one, with a mystery wrestler climbing into the cage and taking out CM Punk with a curb stomp and a super kick. Now, of course, the first suspect in your mind would be Seth Rollins, as who else would deliver a curb stomp? But despite Seth Rollins being injured and not ready to return to WWE, he could have made a miraculous recovery and swerved us all, like he's done in the past. He had mentioned in a recent interview that he was optimistic about his recovery time and mentioned that February could have been a possibility, whilst Becky Lynch had to reel him in and make it clear that it's probably going to be post-Mania. WWE is really making us believe it was Seth Rollins. Well, no, it wasn't Seth Rollins. This was in fact Austin Theory, but Theory has been away for some time due to an injury. However, that time is now past. But why him though? Well, there were rumors a few months ago of Theory being part of the vision leading up to Wargames, and he would have been a stand-in for Logan Paul or Drew McIntyre in the match. However, that never happened. This is a massive swerve that will now cement Theory as the final member of the vision and push him into superstardom territory. What do you guys think? Let us know what you thought of Survivor Series, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.